Every YouTube channel worth its salt that covers any comic books has done a video on Stardust the Super Wizard, and this is the book that just arrived yesterday. This is a character created by Fletcher Hanks. Now, Fletcher Hanks wrote, drew, colored, and lettered all of his own stories from 1939 to 1941. There were 51 stories in all. They were for Fox Features Syndicate. And all of the Stardust, the Super Wizard stories were in a comic called Fantastic Comics. So Victor Fox was an accountant for DC Comics, which at the time was called National, and he liked the numbers coming back from the sales of Superman and Batman and decided, I'm going to start my own comic book company, and he did. It was called Fox Features Syndicate. And incidentally, that's where Jack Kirby got his start drawing superhero comics. Now, Fletcher Hanks was born in 1889. He lived for 86 years, but there is almost nothing known about him. There's no photos known of him. Everything about him comes from his son, Fletcher Hanks Jr. But one of his Stardust the Super Wizard stories was reprinted in Raw Magazine, issue 5 in 1983, and it kind of started this obsession to collect everything he ever made, and it was a little hard to track down at first because A, not much was known about him, and B, he wrote under a bunch of pseudonyms. But all of his work was collected. At first they thought they had all this stuff. It was put out in a book called I Shall Destroy All the Civilized Planets, which came out in 2007. Turns out that was only half of the work, so they came out with a second volume called You Shall Die by Your Own Evil Creation. That was in 2009. But that wasn't all. There were more found, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Let me backtrack a bit. Superman, of course, made his debut in April of 1938. That was the first superhero for comic books. He was followed 13 months later by Batman, who had no powers. 3 months after that, you had Marvel Comics #1 with Namor and the Human Torch. Now here's a couple new characters with powers, and they were followed 4 months later by Fantastic Comics issue 1, which featured the very first published work by Fletcher Hanks, Stardust the Superhero's first story. He would go on to have 15 stories, well, actually 17, but 2 were by another creator. And this all began in December of 1939, so this is very early on. Fletcher Hanks basically had no frame of reference to go on when creating a superhero comic or story, what have you. So why does this stuff stand out? Well, the character is insane. All of Fletcher Hanks' work is insane. And for me, I love that kind of stuff. Now, Fletcher Hanks also created the first female superhero. This was Phantoma in February of 1940. That was the same month that Captain Marvel, Shazam, made his debut, and it was 23 months before Wonder Woman. Now, this was the first book that I got that had Stardust stories in it. This is from 2009. It's called Supermen, the First Wave of Comic Book Heroes, 1936 to 1941. And here is the complete Fletcher Hanks Omnibus from 2016. Turn loose our death rays and kill them all. You can see the title on the binder here, and you can see Stardust there. Back cover has this very funny panel. This omnibus has everything from the first 2 collected paperback volumes, plus more material. And this is all 51 stories, everything that has ever been known to be made by Fletcher Hanks. Let's take a look inside. So here's all the stories contained within and where they came from. And now you get to learn about Fletcher Hanks and his characters. More of his artwork from before he got into comics, and now we go right into where he got into comic books. Oh, no, it's still, look at this. So, Hank's student work. Full disclosure, I've never opened any of these books. I first heard of Fletcher Hanks from a YouTube video, and I swear it was from Comic Tropes. Comic Tropes started their YouTube channel the same year I did. I basically learned everything that I don't know about comics from Chris from Comic Tropes, but when you go and look, his video came out in 2021, and I bought this book in 2018. So I can't figure it out. But here we go. Here's the first story, The Super Wizard, Stardust. And this is where it all begins. And then it goes into all his comics and characters and creations and stuff. And there were a number of characters, and they all had returning stories and continuations and things like that. So if you do want to get this book, I just looked it up. It turns out it is very expensive. I'm glad I bought it when I did because I couldn't afford it now. Maybe it'll be reprinted, hopefully. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But actually, you know what? You can go online and you can get, I mean, these characters are in the public domain. You can get, Phantoma, the first female superhero. So here we go. And you see, he's going by pseudonyms. Barclay Flagg, but it's Fletcher Hanks. So like I was saying, you can download digital scans of all of these comics. So there you go. You could do that. You could do that. That's free. It's all online there for you. Easy to get. Whew. So anyways, like I was saying, Stardust and the other characters are in the public domain, and so we've got Erik Larsen putting out a collection of these characters. Now, this is Fantastic Comics issue 24, put out by Image Comics in 2008. So this would be the year after that first collection of Fletcher Hanks stories. And I guess Erik Larsen got that and said, oh my God, I got to use these characters. This is so cool. I've got mine signed by Erik Larsen. Now, I've never opened this. Let's take a look inside. Well, so why is it issue 24? Well, Fantastic Comics went up to issue 23 back in the Golden Age, 1939 to 1941. And so this is his continuation. He's going to do the next issue. And it's not just Stardust, it's other characters that appeared in Fantastic Comics from Fox Features Syndicate. Now let me just keep flipping until I can find Stardust. Ooh, Bill Sienkiewicz. So it's not all Erik Larsen. So like I was saying, Stardust had 15 stories by Fletcher Hanks and 2 by other creators. Tom Scioli. Well, those were in Fantastic Comics issues 6 and 9, and I went ahead and downloaded digital scans of those, so I can read those stories as well. I also downloaded a issue 1 just so I can get that full original Fantastic Comics to see where everything began for this stuff. But boy, they're really, what are they doing? Saving the best for last? I haven't come to Stardust yet. Oh, Golden Age Daredevil, my favorite, the Claw. And here we go. Very next page, Stardust the Super Wizard. So this is his first return since 1941. Who made this comic? Illustrated by Michael Allred, colored by Laura Allred, written by Joe Keating, lettered by Val Nunez. So they brought the character back in his first new story. And look at him there on a page with the Daredevil and Phantoma. I like that. And Erik Larsen immediately followed that with Savage Dragon issue 141. And look, you see who I see there? There's Daredevil. The Black Terror. I think that's Bullet Man. Ooh, I think that's Amazing Man. Oh, I thought Stardust was going to be in the back. He's inside somewhere. I've never opened this. Let's see if I can find him. Jim Valentino's Shadowhawk. Oh, that's Witchblade. So it's the various Image characters. I saw Spawn on the cover. And here we go. Oh, that's Kazar. Sorry, it wasn't Amazing Man. Daredevil, Black Terror. That's Silver Streak. Oh, he doesn't have the SS on his shirt. That's interesting. Of course, Uncle Sam. Is that the Angel? It can't be the Angel. There's Spawn. So, yeah, I don't know who this character is, but maybe he was just created for this issue because he no longer exists. All right, so where's Stardust? I read that he is in here. Did they lie to me? Did I miss him? The Wikipedia page says that he is in this issue. I didn't see him. I'm gonna give one last look to that page with all the characters on it. Like, I'm not, am I missing something? No, I don't see him. Am I blind? What is it? I'm not seeing him. What the heck? Okay, I got this for the Daredevil anyways. This thing out of my face. And that brings us to 2025, and that's when this came out. Family Fun Comics, issue 18 from Cosmic Lion Productions. Why is it issue 18? Because there were 17 Stardust stories, and so this is going to be the 18th, featuring Stardust the Super Wizard by James Coates. Again, I've never opened this. Clearly, I just got this one recently, within the last few months. because we're still in 2025. But let's take a look. You know what? It reminds me of Ren and Stimpy art. Or the Ripping Friends. Remember the Ripping Friends? Check this out, man. Okay. And then finally back to this hardcover book. Stardust the Super Wizard. Anthology. So this is from a company, a website. I don't know. It's called Zoop. I don't know if that's the publishing company. It's like Kickstarter, Indiegogo or something. I just saw or probably heard from Comic Tropes or something that they were launching a fundraiser for this. And so I got on board and I ordered my book. This is where all new creators were going to create all new Super Dust stories and put it out in a hardcover book. This cost $51, and there are only 613 of us supporters. Now, I was just watching Comic Tropes video this morning that came out last night after I fell asleep, after working too many millions of hours in a row, and everyone in the comments was saying, hey, my Stardust book arrived, and Chris, from Comic Tropes was saying, well, I got my shipping notice, but mine hasn't arrived yet, so all of us 613... It's a little community, okay? But inside here are 27 new Stardust stories to add to the original 17, and I guess the new one from 2008, Fantastic Comics issue 24 from Image Comics, and then the Family Fun comics from issue 18 from earlier this year. So that gives you a total of whatever. Do the math yourself. Let's take a look inside as I tell you about this book. Oh, also with funding this book, so you can see the new stories here, they gave me and probably all of us backers, in fact they did give it to all of us backers, a downloadable PDF of the original 15 or 17, I don't know, I think all 17 of the Stardust stories from the Golden Age. They are in public domain, and I got that, but, already got the stuff. But in case you didn't, in case you're new and you want to get this book, because I'm sure they printed more, and you could probably get this and maybe download the PDF, and then you'll have all the stories. I don't know. It doesn't have all the Fletcher Hanks, not all 51 Fletcher Hanks. It's just the Stardust. So this is a fundraiser from 2023. It ended July 8th of 2023, and it was supposed to ship a few months later. It didn't ship till 2 years, 2 months, and 1 week later. This is kind of par for the course for 99% of all fundraisers I've been a part of. Now, I am currently funding, I believe, my 96th Kickstarter project. I've done, 8 Indiegogos. I've got the Zoop, and there's a few others. So well over 100 projects I've Kickstartered. And so far, almost all of them have arrived. There are a few of the latest that haven't arrived yet, but except for one right off the top of my head, two off the top of my head, all the rest of them ship many, many, many years after they say they're going to ship. There's 2 right off the top of my head where they already have their product done, ready to go, and so basically once you fund it, they ship it. There's 1 or 2 more that they ship on time, they're not done, but anyways, it's a very small percentage. So at least this is one of the few where they update you kind of semi-regularly to let you know they're still working on it, it's still coming. Unfortunately, a lot of them, they'll take a year between updates. There is a project that's not through any type of online thing like a Kickstarter in Indiegogo. It's just a guy who put out a set of books for Ray Harryhouse in a 3-volume set. And those came out many, many years ago, 15, 20 years ago, something like that. He made an updated version of all 3 where they're like double the size, double the length, double the quality, what have you. And I fundraised that, or I should say it's kind of like pre-ordered, and I've been waiting for that for, I think, a minimum of 10 years, and he does an update every year. And the latest update is they're fully printed and ready to come over on a ship, and it's been radio silence, but most of the 10 years or whatever has been radio silence with this. Supposedly still coming, but I have reached out to to him every couple of years, and he says, hey, I'll send you your money back right now if you want to bail. And I'm like, oh, you're still there. And you respond instantaneous. So, no, I can still hold. It's just, I think at some point I'm going to be dead. And a lot of stuff is going to arrive for years and years after I'm dead. Hey now, look at this. They just put that Fantastic Comics issue 24 from Image from 2008 story in here. Okay, well, then that's one less story than I thought it would be. I've already got this. All right. Well, you know what? That's good for the people that don't have everything like I do. Because now they do. Also, in this book is the debut story from Ian Hanks, which is Fletcher Hanks' grandson. I don't know if I've passed it already. Again, this is the first time I've ever opened this, but it just arrived yesterday. And as soon as I got home from work, I got called back into another hospital, and then got home and called back in, and I got to get in the shower and go to work again right now. So maybe I need to close this up and close up my mouth. Hey, Ian Hanks, so here it is. Well, that's where we'll end it. And I'll see you next time. I mean, until next time.